It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very good morning and welcome back. This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, we're talking climate change this morning. It is here and it's causing a wide range of issues that are impacting human beings on every level of life in an increasingly severe manner every single day. And a failure to act on climate change will increase the likelihood of natural disasters, rising sea levels, increased severe weather patterns that we're seeing, such as droughts and floods and fires. And today, we have South Africa climate team leader, Tyler-Davies, and 17-year-old climate justice activist, Ayaka Malitafa, in studio to help us stress the very importance of this topic and why it is that we do need to act now. A very good morning to both of you, and thanks for joining us.
Morning, thank you.
Morning. So let's start off first, Glenn, by maybe understanding a simple thing, because these are two words that we throw around, I think, very interchangeably, that being weather and climate. What exactly is the difference between those two?
Essentially, the difference between weather and climate is time. So weather is something that happens more immediately. So we say it's rainy today or it's sunny today, and maybe over a week sort of forecast. Whereas climate is something that takes place over a much longer time span. So we're talking about sort of average weather patterns.
Yes.
So climate, we might talk about over a year or decade or century-long scale.
Yeah. And very recently, we've been seeing very dramatic weather changes. For instance, the tornadoes that we experienced in the KZN. There's been the massive drought that happened here in the Western Cape that we are still being affected by, dam levels being at an all-time low. Are these natural disasters the effect of climate change over a long period of time, and can they be directly attributed to that?
Absolutely. So it's difficult to directly attribute to say this storm was caused by climate change.
Yeah.
However, the severity and the frequency of these weather events are increasing, and that is directly attributable to climate change. So because of climate change, we're going to see more storms, droughts, more of these really bad impacts.
Yeah.
And we're going to see them happening more often.
Yeah. Let's talk about the greenhouse effect, because whenever we hear greenhouse gases, it's always doom and gloom, you know, down, 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 dramatic music, if you will. But the greenhouse effect is actually critical to supporting life, I understand, but human activity has turned it from being what it is to a much more dangerous global warming effect that we're experiencing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely it has been, because on that point, the greenhouse effect is the trapping of heat in the atmosphere, and it's trapped by greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, and that's healthy because it sustains life on Earth. But by human activity, for example, burning fossil fuels has made that process become faster, increasingly faster. So we're trapping more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, meaning that we're heating up the atmosphere at alarming rates, and that's very bad for nature and our survival.
Absolutely.
Hence the melting ice caps.
Yeah, and very recently in reports about the fires affecting people in Australia, where some 2,000 plus homes have been destroyed and billions of animals dying. And obviously now, then we talk about the effect on the ecosystem when the animal population gets decreased as a result of this. Is this a sign of the damage that climate change can really have and the impact it can have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned some of the impacts that have happened in South Africa recently, in Southern Africa, and what's happening in Australia at the moment with not only animal lives and homes being lost, but also human lives.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something around climate change, and climate change is contributing to these weather effects.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate in Australia, which is being impacted by climate change so horrifically at the moment, that they seem to be doubling down on the burning of fossil fuels. They seem to be promoting coal and exporting coal. So it's really something that they need to get a handle on, and they need to show leadership as opposed to being a laggard in stopping the burning of fossil fuels and bringing about a just transition to renewable energy. Yeah,
man, the balance of the economy versus longevity and the prospect of the future for our children and the planet as a whole. So earlier on, I was asking Jamie Lee, what she's doing to help to save the planet, and we, some of us are doing small things in changing things like the single-use plastic, for instance, trying to abandon that, and she's looking to learn. So what can people do? What are some of the steps that one can take in order to be part of the team that's fighting for the planet and for the future of the world?
Actually, there's a lot as we as ordinary day civilians can do. For example, you can start composting bins at your house. You can try to recycle more, as well as as you said, abandoning single-use plastic, as well as just being more aware of your surroundings, idle devices, not leaving a lot of things unplugged and just running off of electricity, that's going to be very bad for the environment.
Yeah.
But as well as your lifestyle, the way you live. Like instead of just buying new clothes every single weekend or stuff like that, you can rewear your clothes or better go to thrift stores because clothing industry has a big impact on climate change. So it's very important that you as a person are aware of what's going on around you and know how to use the environment.
That's very true, very true.
I think we also need to take collective action as well. And I think that's something that the IACA has been really great at, in leading on that. But bringing people together to put pressure on our business and political leaders to say, we don't want polluting coal, for instance. We want to move away from fossil fuels. We want a just transition that brings people along with it towards renewable energy, where we can change some of the systems that have brought about climate change and the sort of problem or the mess that we're in.
I understand you guys are heading off on a very exciting but yet challenging trip as well, because you've been invited to attend the World Economic Forum in Switzerland.
So that's IACA.
IACA, tell me a bit more about that. That's very exciting.
It definitely is. I'm one of the youth candidates out of 10 that have been invited to the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. I'm the only South African youth delegate, so that's going to be amazing. I'll be talking alongside Greta Thunberg, and it's going to be very fruitful. It will be fruitful to me because it will give me to amplify my voice and the voices of the marginalized communities in South Africa at a greater scale. Because I feel like they're missing a youth and South African authentic voice because we are living through climate change every single day. We have resilience and we have to adapt to this system that's changing so fast. So by me being on the panels, it will give me a chance to give my input, but also raising more awareness about a greater scale on what we are facing as South Africans.
That's incredible. Well, what an opportunity, and I fully believe and trust that you will use it to the best of your ability, come back with innovative ideas, because you'll be sharing a lot with like-minded young people on that platform as well, and represent us well. I'm sure that you will. Thank you for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
We'll be following on in that journey, and Glenn, to you as well. Thank you for joining us.
Can I just add that if people want to get involved and want to take climate action, which we hope they will, the organisation that I work for, 350africa.org, it basically exists to help people do that. So if people want to take action, that would be one way to get involved, is to go and visit our website, 350africa.org.
Excellent stuff, and we'll also be following you on social media at Glenn Tyler and also at IACA Melitafa.
Exactly. Please support my crowdfunding campaign on that note, because in order for me to go to Switzerland and represent South Africa at the best of my abilities, I need certain equipment. And to get that, I need funding. And so you can please support my campaign. You can find it on my Facebook page at IACA Melitafa, as well as on my Instagram page at IACA Melitafa.
Yeah, and if you're going to go straight to the website, it's backabuddy.coza/champion/project/IACA-Melitafa. Thank you very much, guys. All right, now, here's the latest news headlines.